In this video, I'm going to show you how to set up Drone Continuous Integration Server on DigitalOcean using a project stored in Bitbucket. So for any continuous integration server, you're going to need to have a project that's testable. And because this video is part of a series, we're going to go ahead and set up a Angular project. To create our Angular project, we're going to use a generator, a Yeoman generator called generator gulp Angular. If you scroll down, you're going to find the instructions of how to install everything that you're going to need and this final command that lets you go ahead and set up your project. So we're going to run that right now. So yo, gulp Angular, drone example. It's going to ask us some questions and we'll just fill this out. Latest version of Angular, all of those extras, no jQuery, we'll use REST Angular, UI router, we'll use Bootstrap, we'll do the Angular UI Bootstrap, we'll go ahead and do less, and standard JavaScript, standard HTML. All right, we're going to cut the video and come back once NPM and Bower have finished installing. All right, NPM and Bower have finished installing, so we can go and open the project. You'll see that everything is in there. So we're going to want to start this project by running gulp serve. And what that's going to do is it's going to launch our browser and just show us the project. So we can see right there, it opened Firefox, loaded our project. And the reason I picked that particular Yeoman generator is because it comes pre-built with tests. So we'll use this in a future video, but you can run those by running gulp test. And you can see you'll start up Karma and you'll execute one test that's successful. All right, so now that our project's set up, the next thing that we're going to want to do is we're going to want to put this into version control. So this is going to be a couple-step process. First, we're going to do git init. And then next, we're going to need to set this up in Bitbucket. So go to Bitbucket, create a repository, and for this we're going to do drone example. And then I'm going to make this public, and I'm going to go ahead and create that repository. So the next thing I need to do is push my code up there. So to do that, you're going to use, I have an existing project, and what you'll do is you're going to copy this, get remote line right here, copy that, and paste that in there. All right, and we'll run that. And then we'll go to our Changes tab. We'll tell it to refresh. Click this guy. We're going to add all the files to VCS. And then we're going to go ahead and commit and push this. So we're adding a basic Angular web app. Commit and push. Push that up. All right. And then you'll notice if we refresh Bitbucket, that now we have one branch and we have all of our code pushed up. All right, now we're ready to set up a box in DigitalOcean for drone to go on. So we're going to create a droplet. We're going to do the $10 one. I don't recommend using the $5 one. It's a little too small. We're going to name this drone example. Scroll down, we'll put it in San Francisco, and we'll go ahead and pick CoreOS and add my SSH key, and we'll create the droplet. So DigitalOcean is pretty quick, and you'll get that droplet up and going in no time. Once we see it there, then we'll go ahead and configure an SSH session for it in IDEA. So configuration. I have this little pre-done setup one, and we'll go and grab this IP address. They normally start relatively quick, so we should be able to say test FTP. Looks like I might have clicked it a little too soon. I'll give it another. We'll go ahead and test. Looks like it's all good. Okay. All right. And then we'll connect to it. And before we create the drone container, we'll need to give it access to our Bitbucket account. So to do that, we'll go to Bitbucket. We're going to make this window bigger. you're going to click on the upper right, Manage Account, OAuth, Add Consumer, Drone, and then we'll give the URL of our new IP address. We'll click Save, and we're going to need this key and secret. I have a template off screen I'm going to put this into, and then we'll use that to start up the drone container. All right. So we're going to shrink this window back down, and then we're going to put our Docker command in. This is going to be the Docker run command. We're going to run it in detached mode. We're going to give it a name of drone. We're going to link port 80 to port 80. We're going to give it the Bitbucket client right here, which is our key right there. And we're going to give it the secret right there of the secret right here. And then we're going to tell it to use SQLite. And we're going to connect it to the local Docker host. And we're going to use the latest version of drone from the Docker registry. I'm going to kick that off. It takes a while to download. So in the meantime, we're going to do another SSH session to our box, and we're going to pull down the node latest image because we're going to be using that to save time when we run our first build. Otherwise, the build has to download this image. So by doing it ahead of time, we just save a little bit. All right, we'll come back once drone is up and running. All right, we finished downloading the Docker container for Node, so we can go ahead and close this. And our drone container is up and running. So if you look at that, port 80. So let's go ahead and go to that in the web. And you'll see that here's our drone all set up, and it's configured for our Bitbucket. So we'll go ahead and click on that. And because I'm logged in at Bitbucket, I didn't have to log in again. We'll go ahead and grant it access. And you're going to see all the repositories in this Bitbucket account. All right, so the repository that we see here is this same project over here on the left. So we'll go and click on that. And this is going to be the commit stream. We need to activate it. So let's click Activate. Once it's activated, what that does is in Bitbucket, if we go to the repository and go to gear and go to hooks, you'll see that it added a hook so that when we commit and push our code, it will let our drone server know so that it can kick off a build. All right, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to add a drone YAML, and we're going to get it to kick off a build here. So first, we'll do a new file, and this will be .drone.yml. We'll add it to version control. And I've gone ahead and set up an example of how to use some of the colors in the output of drone, and I think that's really handy. I use it on all my projects, but this is our simple first drone YAML. So you can see that we have image, we're going to use node latest, and for the moment we're just going to run this color script, which will load all these variables and allow us to output some colors. And I've gone and given an example of the colors that work, the colors that don't work, and then some other helpful things that I do. And then at the bottom we'll go ahead and put deploy, and we'll just simply echo out that this would be where you do the deployment, and we'll do that later in the series, cover deployments. So for now, we also need to add this file called colors.sh because it doesn't exist. So we'll go ahead and do that. All right. And I'll copy that in as well and show that to you. So this simply just exports the colors and these little helpers. Now that those are good, what we're going to do is just commit those. And we'll just say added the drone YAML and added color script for debugging drone builds. All right, and then we'll do a commit and push. All right, you see that drone picked up on that commit and it started a build. So we'll click on this build. And as I stated earlier, in our drone YAML, we're using node latest. And since we already pulled that down on the host, it should be pretty quick for drone to start that. We're going to make this window a little bit bigger. But in just a second here, you're going to be able to see the output of this. And that will be the end of setting up drone on DigitalOcean with Bitbucket. All right, success. So just kind of show the screen a little bit. So it cloned in the project, it checked out that specific commit, and then it ran our bash script and output colors. And then these ones don't work. And then these other helpers that I consistently use on all my drone builds. And then down here, just a note letting you know that during this stage, when it passes, this is where it pushed to your registry. I hope you enjoyed the video, and please look forward to the rest of this series.